Hey, welcome back to Hot Dog Sports. Today we're going to take a look at our roster, particularly our second base position. We're going to look at Jonathan Villar, who is currently our only second baseman on our roster. If you haven't been with us, could you please go back and take a look at some of the previous videos where we show the draft, we show our roster and our weaknesses. I look at second base to be one of our weaknesses since we only have one player that is eligible. So as we go to the introduction, please look down below and subscribe to Hot Dog Sports so you can be with us all season. I'll see you on the other side. So let's get started by taking a look at Jonathan Villar and his numbers. Now let's realize that we're not talking about real numbers as in how it would reflect if he's playing on a Major League Baseball team, but how it will reflect on a fantasy baseball team, where different classification of numbers and categories and such, and then the gelling of these numbers of the team make the team successful. So Jonathan Villar has both power. He had over 20 home runs last year, and he can steal bases, having over 40 last year. He's projected to have 11 stolen bases this year. That's what makes him valuable in fantasy baseball. In addition to that, he should be playing all the time, and we'll look at that later. He reminds me of a Gene Segura, where he has power as well as speed, and he can add a lot to a team with regards to dimensions. So will Villar be playing every day? Let's take a look at the Miami Marlins depth chart. If you look under center field, Jonathan Villar is listed as the first option, the starter. In addition to that, he is the backup or second option at shortstop and at second base. Villar most likely will be playing quite a bit if he doesn't get injured or anything like that. So this is a good sign for us. Next, we have to determine what other players might be available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at a list of all the second basemen who could potentially be on our team. If you look, I have a listing of the top 15 second basemen. All of them in blue, light blue, are on another team. The three green ones are free agents. I have these in order by fantasy points. So you notice the top players have been selected. That leaves Howie Kendrick, Cesar Hernandez, and Starlin Castro. In addition to that, we'll look at the players below that, the next 15 second basemen. So Jonathan Villar did not even show in the top 15. He does show in the top 30, which is very low, except notice that he has a predicted 11 stolen bases. That's more than any of the other second basemen in all of baseball. So for that reason and that reason only, he is very important to us to be able to have him in play. The question happens, what if he gets injured? Or if he takes a day off, who would we have play second base? And that's why we're looking at other second basemen. So I have selected 5 second basemen to put on our watch list. And I have them in order by the percentage of teams that they've been selected by, or what rosters. The reason I did that is, remember, this is a competitive situation for free agents. Those players at the top of this list are more likely to get selected than ones that are lower. But here's the thing to look at. So we got Starlin Castro, Howie Kendrick, Colton Wong, Cesar Hernandez, and Tommy La Stella. Notice that Castro and Kendrick are on the same team. We need to see if those guys are both going to play, or who's going to start and who's going to back up. So let's take a look at that as well. So here is a look of the Washington National depth chart for 2020 based on predictions. And let's start with Howie Kendrick first. Howie Kendrick is listed as the starter at DH at the bottom there. In addition to that, he is the backup at second base and the backup at first base. Looks like Howie Kendrick, the plan is to have him play quite a bit. So that's good news. Now take a look at Starlin Castro. Castro is deemed to be the starter at second base. However, he's not the second backup to any position. He is the third backup at shortstop, though. So he may play a little bit less than Howie Kendrick. So we're going to have to monitor that and see how it goes. And I think one of those players probably will be a good player to select to have on the team as a second baseman. there's one more thing I want to look at, and that is our roster. If you notice in looking at our roster, we have 4 shortstops, in addition to Villar, who also plays shortstop. We have Lindor, Tatis, Mondesi, and Anderson. Each of them, it could be trade bait. If we want to get a second baseman, we could use one of them to do so. I also want you to see that on Mondesi, though his points are relatively low, again, stolen bases, a difficult category to get. He has 13 that are predicted. So we always have those that we could either get rid of one to pick up a second baseman, maybe one of the 2 Washington National guys, or to put it as trade bait to another team to pick up a second baseman there. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this information was helpful for you. Remember, this is just an example. You can take the same information and use it to analyze the players that are your fantasy team. When you get an opportunity, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time on Hot Dog Sports. Take care.